in the book, The Privacy Plan, which we've given to you all, we discuss exactly how the investigators find out this stuff. And
I'm sure a lot of people in the audience have heard about offshore accounts. Why don't you tell us whether those can be located?
Okay. Offshore accounts are interesting in terms of whether the investigators are able to locate them, because a lot of the work that we do is with offshore trusts and banks, and we wanted to see what would happen. And what we found out is that the investigators were able to locate accounts at certain of the offshore banks. And we looked very closely at exactly how they do this, and I'll share it with you. The first thing that they do is they get a list of your telephone numbers, and they get that from their sources at the telephone company. So any investigator is able to find out all of the telephone numbers that you have, listed or unlisted. Unlisted numbers are very, very easy for them to get. Then they're able to get a list of all the telephone calls that have been made on the telephone number, for each telephone number. They then run those telephone calls through what's called a reverse directory. And a reverse directory is a printout of the name of the person on the other end of that call. So if it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they'll print out who that is on the other end. Well, most people have had some contact with their overseas banks, so they might be calling Bank of Antigua. And if you're calling the Bank of Antigua, that name will show up in the reverse directory under that telephone number. They then use a technique called pretext. They will call the Bank of Antigua and identify themselves under your name and with your identifying information that they've been able to gather over the internet, and they're usually able to talk the information out of the bank. They're very, very skilled at this. Many of the offshore banks claim to be very experienced in guarding your confidentiality. Some of them really are not. But in some of the countries that are less experienced in this, that have started doing asset protection or offshore accounts, only recently you've got a potential danger there in terms of using them and in terms of people finding out about this. Now that we know basically what they can get, one of the questions is, who are they? Who is it that wants this information about you? Who wants the details of your private financial life? Let's start with the most obvious. One party that wants to know what you're up to is the government. They want information about you to collect taxes and to carry out their social programs and to enforce the laws against money laundering. The government has hundreds of ways to gather this information about you, and it's a natural course of events that governments inevitably want more and more information about their citizens. And they impose more reporting requirements over time and increase surveillances as well.